Okay, Rachel, hello. Can you hear me pretty well?
I
And you can see our
can.
audience.
Hello. Yes. Hello,
Oh,
everyone.
can you turn this up for me, Skylar?
Let's have you speak a little bit closer into it, Rachel. I'll
Oh,
still be able to
okay.
hear you.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thanks for staying. Thank you so much, Rachel. We had a full house. It was a wonderful film. It's an emotional film. I saw some tears out there. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Professor Maria McLeod. I teach at Western Washington University. I'm a journalism professor there, and I'm on the advisory board, as Cheryl said. And so Cheryl gave me the honor of asking some questions. So I have a couple questions prepared, but I'm hoping you have questions as well, and I'll repeat them to Rachel. So, Rachel, I've been thinking so much about you, and I've been thinking about you as I was watching this film. And I was thinking about someone who co-wrote, produced, and directed the film. And I was thinking about how when you take on a project like this, it becomes your life, and that you have choices in terms of what films you're going to make and who you're going to make them about. So I wonder if you can tell us why, in particular, this subject, Lilly Ledbetter, and yeah, what brought you here?
Well, thank you. First of all, thank you. Lovely to meet you. And thank you to everyone there who's come to see the film and is staying for, oh, thank you. It's nice to see you react. That's lovely. Thank you so much. I can't hear the audience, but I can see them. So you'll have to do sign language for me to
Yeah.
understand. Yeah, yeah. Um, it's a great question, and I could go in a million different directions to tell you, but I will let you know that I'm a woman director who came up at a time when less than 1% of the film and television that was being made at that time was being written and directed and produced by women. And so it was a very difficult time for women in my industry. And it took the course of 3 or 4 decades for me to really see some change. And the majority of the change has really only happened in the last 10 years or so. So I experienced my own exclusion, which is gender discrimination of a different kind. But I used to say to Lilly, whether you're a tire factory worker from Alabama or a Hollywood film director, no matter where you are in life, no matter what you do, discrimination and otherism is the same, no matter what. And so when I saw Lilly first speak at the Democratic Convention in 2008 on television, I was just watching television like everybody else. I just had a sense that her story, even though I'm embarrassed to say that in 2008, I didn't know who Lilly Ledbetter was. And I am a lover of movies, social justice movies. I grew up with the movies of my mother's generation. I remember she wanted me to watch The Boy with Green Hair. And for those of you who don't know the movie, and I'm sure none of you know that movie, it's just a movie about prejudice, about a boy who has green hair, and everybody doesn't like him. Why? He has green hair. And, we would watch these movies, and my mother would say, "What's the moral of the story?" So I didn't know that I was kind of being indoctrinated into social justice films, but How Green Was My Valley, that's a movie from the 30s, and these were movies of my mother's generation. But then of my generation, it was Erin Brockovich and Norma Ray and Silkwood and North Country. And I loved all those movies. When I saw Lily Spoke, I just had a sense. Here was this Alabama grandma, beautiful, bleach blonde, presented herself so beautifully, speaking about gender equity on television in front of millions of people. I mean, that's got to be a brave chick, I want to follow her story and I want to find out what she's all about. So I did, and that's really there was personal motivation, but then I met her and I heard her story and I thought, okay, that's a great story, and I want to tell a great story.
Oh, and we thank you for doing that. Amazing. Um, you just mentioned that you met her, and I didn't realize until I saw this film that she passed away this past October. So this is somewhat self-indulgent as a journalist, as a writer, but I need to ask this question. Did you derive the script in part from interviews with her, or were you reading depositions, or where did that script, how did you generate the script?
Yeah, great question. Two big buckets. First of all, when I first reached out to Lily and I told her that I was interested in making a film, she was in the process of writing a book. And so she said, I can't option my story to you for because I'm writing a book. And she when you write a book, you have high hopes it's going to be a bestseller, right? And then you're going to sell it for a lot of money. So she did write a beautiful book, and I highly recommend anyone in the audience who is interested in Lily's story to buy a book called Grace and Grit. You can get it on Amazon, you can get it in your local bookstore. And it's a fantastic book, beautifully written by Lanier Isom, who I've become good friends with, who's a local Birmingham writer and became good friends with Lilly. And so, yes, I did a lot of interviewing with Lilly. I spoke to Lilly many, many times when she traveled to California. I live in Los Angeles. I would, travel to be with her. But Lilly was not a born storyteller, and Lanier is. And Lanier had the opportunity to spend hours and hours and hours and hours pulling out these beautiful details. So it was a combination of the book and my personal relationship with Lilly. And I will just tell you and the audience, Lilly had seen the finished film and she loved it. And she was so overjoyed to know that her legacy and her story would go on in this way. But her daughter was able to come to our world premiere, which was October 10th or 12th. I never remember the exact date, in the Hamptons in Long Island. And so Vicky, her daughter, was there with us, with Vicky's family. And as soon as the film was over, Vicky ran back to Birmingham because her mother was already in the hospital at that time. And she told her mother all about it, and she died the next day.
Oh my gosh. Wow, amazing.
It really was as if she was waiting.
Yeah. Wow. I'm so glad she got to see it. And thank you for sharing that with us. Cheryl, who is the executive director of Cascadia International Women's Film Festival, she and I were talking, and she mentioned, I didn't really know this, she really knows the film festival circuit. And she said this film is, people are seeing it and people are reacting to it. And I just wonder if you could convey, and you've probably talked to other people after they've seen the film, how it's resonating with people, the general reaction, maybe in this particular moment in history as well. What is your sense of audience reaction at this time?
Well, first of all, as a filmmaker, when you're making a film, and you're in the editing room for months on end, you have no idea how people are going to react, right? And then you have maybe a couple of test screenings with friends just to see if it's confusing. Did you understand this? Did you understand that? That's one of the reasons why we have the cryon, the words on screen, because some people were confused, and who's this person, or what date is it, or how many years have passed, and as a filmmaker, it's like, I don't want to put that on screen. People are smart, but enough people were confused that I did. So during those screenings, we didn't get a strong sense of emotionality. We got a lot, and I think that's because we asked filmmakers, this is good, this is bad, this is confusing, this is good. But as soon as we got it out into a general audience, it was kind of beautifully surprising at how emotional everyone is. There's a lot of laughing, there's a lot of crying, there's gasping, there's cheering, there's standing ovations. And it's just wonderful to have audiences be able to express, as you said, in this moment in time, this sense of this beautiful history that we had, this beautiful history we hope we will have again. And to be able to, it's cathartic and it's very of the moment. So yeah, it's very exciting to see audiences watch the film, and I think it's an audience pleaser.
Definitely is. Can I ask the audience, just because so Rachel can see your reaction too, how many of you, tears in your eyes or had emotional moments? Can you raise your hand? There you go. The whole audience. Yeah, exactly. Okay.
I love that. Also,
Yeah.
by the way, I want everyone to know the film is going to be theatrically released on May 9th, heading into Mother's Day. So it's not going to be, like a Marvel movie at an AMC theater opening in, 5,000 theaters, but it will be around the country, and I hope you will all tell your friends about it. And also, you can go to Letterboxd, and you can go to Rotten Tomatoes and write your own review.
Oh, we are going to talk it up. I think I feel like I'm dominating. Do we have questions out there? Yeah, Emily. Yeah, I'll repeat this. The tire factory scenes seem both painful and very realistic. How did you do that?
Great question. We had a wonderful production designer is how we did that. So we found pretty much it was an empty warehouse. but it was a warehouse from the 1960s that had this old conveyor belt. And in this industrial part of Atlanta, which is where we shot it, there were several warehouses, other warehouses, and the warehouse next door happened to be a warehouse of tires. So we got the conveyor belt had not worked in about 25 years, but our production designer got it to work. And then, you put fake smoke in it, and he brought in thousands of tires from the building next door. And then you bring in, guys who are wearing the Goodyear suits, and that's movie magic.
I love it. Absolutely love it. Yeah. In the front?
Thank you, Rachel. The movie was very touching. As someone who followed along the Lilly Ledbetter case, the most touching aspect of this movie for me had to do with the timeliness of what is happening in our country and the contrast. Even though it went through the struggles, the case, it's so far ahead of where we are right now, and so sad, in effect. So I just wanted to share that.
Were you able to hear that, Rachel?
Yes, I was. I heard
Oh,
it.
good.
Thank
That's
you
great.
very much. Yes.
Go ahead.
This felt to me something like an expose as well. I mean, I knew about it, but I could see that. And I knew there's so much more information that there have been movements around or just effects from the film. And how do you get to that?
Yeah, so I think I'll have to repeat that, right, Rachel? Okay. So she say it again, that yeah, it felt like an expose because we learned so much about her husband. We learned about how she was harassed. We learned about things that we didn't know. And she wondered, because, Lilly Ledbetter, we kind of know who she is without this film, but there was so much that came to light. So in terms of what's come to light, has there been other reactions? Like, has anything else been done? Or has it activated people in some way?
The film? Well, the film hasn't been released yet. You're the first people to see it.
That's true. That's true.
So the film, we're doing our festival tour, and festivals have, an audience of 100 or 200 or 300, but,
Right.
we've done like 10 festivals, but you're a very small handful of people who've seen the film. I will say, I know this is not directly the question that she asked, but it was important to me. I didn't want to make a political film. I'm not a documentarian. I didn't want to make a film about the politics. I wanted to make a film about a woman, a very particular kind of brave, courageous woman who is a model for the rest of us. I wanted to show what it's like to be a mother and a wife, and the cost of being an activist in your personal life. To take the slings and arrows of that daily assault, let alone the assault she had when she was working in that factory, and be a model for the rest of us to stand up for what's right, because it's hard. It's hard to stand up for what's right. And that's why I feel it's an important film for this moment, not because of the specific law of fair pay or gender equity. Yeah, sure. If you get that out of this film, wonderful. I'm pleased. But for me, it's really about any kind of discrimination. And I think this film is emotionally useful no matter where you live in the world and no matter what your form of discrimination is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's so there. Cheryl's holding up her cell phone. What does it say on your cell phone? It's part of the website.
Social action campaign.
The Lilly Social Action Campaign on the website. Yeah. So you can go to the website. I wanted to follow up in terms of how this person said they learned things that they didn't know. I thought it was really interesting, your choice of including actual footage of Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Barack Obama and seeing Hillary Clinton. And so I wanted to ask about that choice being made within a drama. And it had, at least for me, a big impact on me seeing that. Actually, those were the moments that really made me cry when I saw those people. But anyway, can you tell us how you came to decide to do that?
Yeah, well, filmmaking is a beautiful art form and a very collaborative art form. I had not initially thought about doing that. It was not in my original script. And it was our editor's idea. And there was a little bit of archival footage in the very beginning, but not to this not Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And the editor said, go away. I have an idea. I don't want you to look. Just, we cut the rest of the film, but go away, come back and look at it. And when she told me what it was before I saw it, I was like, oh, I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna like that. I'm not a documentarian. It's not a documentary. I don't know. No, I don't think so. But I have a very open mind. And I saw the film and I just thought it was tremendously impactful to have a dramatic scene with actors who are acting out something that's supposedly happening in real life. And then to juxtapose it with something that says, yeah, this really happens. And I'm Ruth Bader Ginsburg and I'm verifying that. So I did, it struck me that that was very powerful. So although sort of on an aesthetic level, it goes against my grain. I just thought it was, I had to do it. I thought it was the right thing to do.
That's great. Are there other questions? Emily, oh, wait, another, I'm gonna ask, okay, this one first. Okay. Okay. Yeah. She's curious about the process of bringing Patricia Clarkson on and how did that happen? And I think we love her. I think I can say collectively we love her. Yeah.
Hands up, who loves Patricia Clarkson?
Yeah. There you go.
Good. Yeah, I'm a very lucky filmmaker to have had Patricia Clarkson say yes to this film. Hollywood's a very particular and peculiar kind of place. I am not a famous filmmaker, and she is a famous movie star. So for an actor to take the leap of faith to say, yeah, I'll work with this person who I've never heard of before and no one else has either, is kind of remarkable. I did have friends who were allies who, spoke to her representation. So she knew I wasn't, coming off the bus from, wherever that I was a professional filmmaker. But she's a remarkable, remarkable actor. And so is John Benjamin Hickey, and so is Thomas Sadowski. And to have all three of them was such a gift. But working with Patricia is marvelous. Of course, I had her in mind from the very beginning. How could you not? How many Southern women, she's a Southern woman, who have not had a lot of work done, who are 60 and want to play 60. And be brilliant. And also she's tough in a way that Lilly is tough. And when you're casting a film, I think it was Hitchcock who said that 99% of directing is casting. Well, I think that's an exaggeration, but it's true. I mean, you have to, someone's essence has to fit the character. No matter how good an actor you are, your essence is not right, then you can't play that role. And she, Patty likes to joke that she's played a lot of sort of bad women, and she was really honored to play a good woman. And not only that, but her own mother was a very prominent woman in Democratic politics in New Orleans, where she comes from.
Wow.
So she grew up in a political family, and when her mother found out that she was playing Lilly Ledbetter, she cried on the telephone. It was very touching.
Yeah, it's great. It's so great to talk to the director. You get these great details you wouldn't have otherwise. Yeah, everyone so well cast. Jeez Louise. Emily.
So, beautiful love story.
Yeah.
Story, because maybe that'll bring some other people. I think we're all here because of the politics and we know that.
Yeah. So Emily is saying that you have a very beautiful love story here too, and that we are here, equal pay, and there's a lot of women in the audience, but that she thinks in your marketing you can also push that beautiful love story that's going to sell it as well.
And when I was raising money to make this film, it's an independent film, we had to raise every penny of it. I would pitch it as a love story. People would go, what? I thought it was about Lilly Ledbetter. Yeah, it's about Lilly Ledbetter who loves Charles Ledbetter. And it's such an important part of Lily's life. Charles was her dreamboat, he was the boy next door. She met him when she was 16 years old, and they were joined at the hip from the moment they met. This is why you should read the book. And till the day he died. I mean, that was a lot, so much of that is true. They just loved, they had a real love affair. And Lily's grandsons, Vicky's boys, there are three of them, were extras. Two of them are in the courtroom scene, and one of them is in the press room scene when she's giving her press conference. And when the two boys were in the courtroom and they saw John Benjamin Hickey there, they didn't even know who he was yet. He hadn't spoken lines. They said, that man looks so much like our granddad.
Wow. Amazing. Rachel, you need to go on a booking tour. You need to be on talk shows. People need to know this. It's so amazing. Okay. I don't know how long. I'm not supposed to spend too long. I've got about 5 minutes. Okay. More questions from the audience? Or Cheryl. Okay, Cheryl.
Come on, Cheryl.
Just my mind.
No, Cheryl, I can't slip your mind. There's one back here. Okay. What you think, Cheryl? I'm going to take this question. Good question. Great question. She's asking like an editing room floor question. Is there anything kind of juicy that we might love to know that you had to leave out?
Yeah, good question. Fun. Something I was thinking about even just yesterday. Not too many scenes, but there's a scene toward the end when Lily goes back to Washington and she confronts the Chamber of Commerce guy and she says, don't score the vote, you know, and she's wearing the red suit. There's a scene that's right after that we shot. It was just a little scene, but it was a beautiful location. And she went in, she saw the two female senators that she had met early on, Alaska, Murkowski, who said, I'm sorry, I believe in it, Lily, but I don't have the time right now. And Alaska has other priorities. And then there were two of them. And so I had a scene where she went back to the Senate and they're sitting in the Senate and she goes over and she says, the vote's not being scored. And the two women stand up and shake her hand and they walk out the door together. I kind of wish in this moment right now that it was in, but it slowed it down to a point where we didn't need it to slow down.
Yeah. Great. Gosh, that's a great detail. Okay, Cheryl. Okay.
Have the Obamas seen this film yet?
Have the Obamas seen the film?
Yes, President Obama has seen the film.
Yeah.
You guys and President Obama, and he loved
What? Has Hillary Clinton seen it?
I don't know that Hillary has seen it. She knows about it. She knows about it for sure. Billie Jean King has seen it. Yeah, we're getting it out there to our peeps.
Screening.
Are you going to have a DC screening? That's a question.
We are, you know, it's when you're an independent filmmaker, so much of this is just about financing. We would like to, but you know, when you have a DC screening, it costs a lot of money. And so we're having a premiere in New York and we're having a premiere in Los Angeles, but we have sponsorship for those, right? So we would love a sponsor for a DC screening, you know, but we don't have it.
I think Cheryl's going to work on that for you.
Okay, that would be a call.
Okay. Anything else? Anything you want to add, Rachel, that we didn't ask you?
No, I mean, I'm delighted that you liked the film. I really would love you to follow us. So here's a little bit of homework. Since you're the professor, I can give you homework.
Okay.
Please follow us on Instagram and Facebook, where it's very simple, at Lilly Movie. At Lilly Movie. Lilly has 2 L's.
Okay.
Also, we have a website at lilymovie.com, and you can register there. And if you register, we will not sell your information, but when we publish our newsletters once a month or so, you'll get our newsletter and you'll know what we're doing and where the film is and those kinds of things. And then again, please go on Letterboxd and Rotten Tomatoes and give us a nice review. And that would be great.
And I'll tell my students as well. Okay, Cheryl wants a word.
Okay.
No, I'm just going to thank everyone again for coming this evening, and special thank you to Rachel for joining us for the talk back, and give her a hand. We wish you all the best with the film,
Thank you.
Rachel, and thank you so much for making our International Women's Day so special.
Thank you very
Thank
much
you, everyone.
for inviting me. I
See you at the
appreciate it.
festival.
Thank you so much. What an honor.
Bye.
Bye.
Lovely.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.